Hi and welcome back to my channel, and I've got a really important one today. We're going to be talking about paid contracts and partnerships in your CIC. So this is an alternative to grant funding. Paid partnerships and contracts is a brilliant way to get sustainable contracts and payments into your CIC. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to give you my 4 tips for how to get these contracts and what to do, where to sign up and how to pitch yourself and all of that good stuff. So before I get into this video, I just want to say that if you are interested in this topic, then do get my membership, which is only $10.99, because I've got a webinar where I did a 2-hour webinar with some guest speakers on this topic. So I've got somebody who sold contracts across the country to the NHS. I had somebody who sells contracts to, does paid partnerships with schools and others. And then I covered in that webinar about prisons and the DWP. So it's a brilliant webinar. It's packed full of everything. So do get the membership and then you can watch the full version. So this video is the short one. And then if you want to watch this more in depth, go get my membership and watch the masterclass webinar. So that aside, let's get into it. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about what you need to do in terms of where you need to sign up for contracts. So that is a website called Pro Contracts, and I've put the link in the description of this video. So you can go on there, and if you're a registered CIC, you can sign up, you can enter all your details, and then they will regularly send you emails once you've filled in the kind of things that you do in the areas that you're interested in working in. They'll send you a selection of what's available. So any bids that come up in your area, they will have those on there. So I was having a little look the other day, and I noticed, as to give you an example, there was a call out from a local council who wanted a street art mural done. So that wasn't in my area, but it's a good example anyway of somebody like myself who's a street artist. I could just bid for that, and it's with a local council. They wanted a mural done. They wanted to involve the community in it. And they needed an artist to do that. So you could just bid for it. Now, there were other things on there as well, like running mental health wellbeing workshops. There was stuff with domestic violence victims. There's stuff with homeless. So various different councils and sometimes other organisations like universities, all sorts of people will put their contracts on there, and then people can bid for them. Now, anybody can bid, but obviously being a CIC, you're going to qualify because you are a community company, because you are not for profit. So generally speaking, with a lot of these bids, they're going to be attached to what is public money. And obviously all of these organisations want to make sure the public money is spent well. And obviously they will always prefer you to be set up as a CIC. So that's another benefit of a CIC. So go and sign up for Pro Contracts. So number 2, I would say, is to go and network and make sure you let all the organisations in your area know what you're doing, what your price list is. Set up a price list on your website. Make sure you get that out there so that these organisations, most of which get large pots of money to deliver certain outcomes, and they will often source people in to help them deliver those outcomes, and they will pay them. So that is a great paid partnership. Now, do be careful that they don't try to shortchange you. Make sure you know your worth. Make sure you get your price list that's pretty tight, so that you're making sure you're not just going in for an hour, you're paying, being paid for the day. So things like that do be aware of, but this can be a great opportunity to get yourself a contract long term. I know people that have got contracts with schools, etc. So this is a great way to do that. So make sure you network, get out there, ask everyone, let them know your price lists. Tip number 3 is make sure you've set all your ducks up so that you are offering something. Now, I would say you need to be offering both soft and hard outcomes. Now, one thing I would definitely recommend, especially like if you're delivering some kind of skills training, is adding qualifications and certificates. So that then gives a hard outcome. Schools will pay for partnerships if, for instance, the hard to reach young kids are getting a certificate at the end of it or getting a qualification. Same goes for unemployed people, long-term unemployed, people maybe on the sick who've been off for a long time. So those types of groups, if you're delivering qualifications, then that's always going to be a bonus. And then there are soft outcomes as well. So it might be that you're doing a wellbeing workshop, and for that you want to basically make sure you can prove that you can correlate the evidence of the impact that you're having. And the best way to do that is, of course, feedback forms and evaluation. So for instance, say you're doing a workshop, you need to be able to say X amount of people went and X amount of people were satisfied and completed, and this had these benefits. It might be that they got out more, that they engaged more with, the community, whatever the outcomes are. So think about soft and hard outcomes, and make sure when you're pitching to any kind of partners for contracts that you detail that you can deliver both. And tip number 4 is you are an expert in your little niche field. So think about developing some kind of resource that you can sell so you can scale it. So it might be that you've designed an app that could be used maybe in schools or NHS or wherever, like across the country. I developed, which I've talked about before, a rehabilitation course for prisons, and I then sold that to multiple areas. So I did that through the sort of the government prison system, where it's called the dynamic purchasing system. So the prisons and actually the DWP as well have a system called Baseware, and you can register your CIC on Baseware, and then you are available then. So should the job centre want to buy your resources off you, or the prisons want to buy your resources off you, you're on their system, and then you can sell to them. So definitely having some kind of resource that you can sell that's useful across the board for organisations, for state organisations, all of that. So definitely think about something you can make, whether it be, like I said, a book, an app, or some other kind of resource or course. And to be able to scale will mean that you can be sustainable long term, especially if you're selling something that's quite passive, like once you sell it, the resource is gone, you don't have to deliver it because that organisation is. That's a really great model because it doesn't exhaust your time. It exhausts your time when it comes to making the resource, but not on the delivery because you're handing it over and other people are delivering it. So it's a great business model to be able to scale using resources that then become almost passive income. So I hope that helps and gives you some ideas. Do jump in the chat if you want any questions answered with regard to paid contracts. If you want to book a call with me and float your idea, then do let me know. I've also got some specialists that I did a webinar with, and if you join my membership, you can watch the full webinar video, which has them in it, the guest speakers in it. So we cover everything from NHS to schools to me doing the prisons and all of that in a brilliant webinar. So do join the membership and sign up for that.